What's up, everybody? Why is my screen black? There we go. Sorry for the grainy photo. Alright, today is Saturday, and we're on day 16 of making videos on every day. Let's see, I'm getting everything worked out here. Okay, so what I see when I talk to students is a lot about, why a big objective is when I talk to students about trying to get their A&P is that they're gonna wait, or maybe they'll do it later. You know, even though that they need this later on, whether it's for performance reports or they're on their transition, they'll talk about wanting to do it later. And when not making a decision can feel safe at the moment, but it's almost like if the decision of not doing anything is also can cost you. It can be expensive. The cost of inaction can quietly be expensive because because time goes by fast. Your career goes by fast. And by the time you know it, you don't have access to the benefits or the funds that you had when you were in the military, and then you're gonna have to come out of pocket for it. So, and then you get to working for an airline, they want to hire you, but you don't have your 8610-2s or your tickets, or I'm sorry, those are the same things, but your A&P. When you could have done that while you were in the military. Oh man, I shouldn't have planned so hard for my planned so hard for my retirement. And I bring this up because it actually happened. That a guy prioritized his retirement party over his A&P. And I don't want you all to be in the same position where that could be the case. Where putting a career over a party. I mean, to me, that's just not prioritizing what's important, right? Because, especially if you have a family and, maybe doing nothing can, keep you safe from not failing, not quitting, and not making a bad move. But just waiting, that inaction can be safe, however expensive. And inaction can definitely cost you money because you don't do anything. So, of course, in the military, it talks about going over everything, all the details, going over, preparing yourself and not rush into making big decisions, right? Because you don't need to be. And that's why it's important that you have the information. However, some people still are hesitant to make a decision. Whether it's, oh, I'm not a good student, or, oh, I'm not, I got a lot of things going on. And when you're getting towards the end of your career, you got to shift your priorities, because the military is not going to care about you that much after you get out. Yeah, you get the VA, but that old unit you were in, those guys they're going to change personnel. They're not going to remember you. I've never had anybody reach out to me and say, hey, how you doing? I mean, other than friends that you've made in the military, but As far as the unit, no. You think that maybe nobody will replace you. They already replaced you with great people too, and that's a good thing. So doing nothing can make you feel responsible because it avoids the immediate plan. And what you don't know, it actually costs you. And because if you wait till the very end, now you come out of pocket, which is going to cost you. It's going to cost you time to be earning that money right away because that company wants to hire you already. It wants to get you through all the trainings, and you're going to miss on that. You know, so everything gets delayed. You lose seniority. You might miss the hiring window. So being ready when your time is up is the best position you want to put yourself. And let's say that you don't get your A&P, and I see this quite a bit where you might miss your time to get the schooling done because you're too busy. But guess what? I was like, oh, let's get an extension, let's move it forward, and then you miss the momentum. Now you're another year removed from seniority. So it'll cost you. Confidence decays when action is delayed. So you may be scared up front, but you're gonna take care of yourself before you get out, because you don't want to keep extending, and you wouldn't have to if you're already prepared before you got out. And that's one of the things I tell a lot of military maintainers to do is prepare, because there's tons of opportunities for you out there in almost any place you want to be at. So why does this hit you harder? Because you might not be as structured, or the civilian side is not going to be as structured after the service. You're not going to be hardcore about timelines. And if you get your A&P, you're going to have tons of options. But not having a plan, not having prioritizing your goals is going to hurt you in the long run. And when you don't do that, you might think that, I don't know what to do in my life. And that's the worst position you want to be in. Having a plan, all right, whether you do A&P first couple of years, great. If you don't and you have a plan to do something else, great. But not having a plan, I don't know what to do in my life. And that happens a lot. And that's what I don't want you to get in. Get into having a plan, preparing yourself, getting your resume together, getting your certification, all that ready, and having a handful of strong candidates for you to work for. Because right now you can do the A&P for anywhere. There's online stuff. I provide an online course. You can start hammering some of that studying out, practicing for your exams all while you're out, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to wait till after deployment, or once I separate, or when things calm down. Because we already know things don't calm down in the military. You're always on the go, you're always training, you're always TDY. So later can be the most expensive word you use during your transition. Later has really no deadline, so nothing moves when you put yourself in that mindset. And action doesn't mean commitment. It can be pretty easy to make those decisions, but does it cover up your lack of action, lack of execution? Maybe you're afraid. Maybe is it covering up something that you don't want the world to know. And, action doesn't mean quitting tomorrow or locking yourself in. Action means getting your information, getting structure, getting clarity, and signing up, studying. That's action. You don't lose options by acting. You lose options by waiting. Things going by you. Oh, I should have waited. And you gotta know when to hit on those options. You know, if the opportunities are out there and you don't execute on it, you're gonna stay in the military, or you're gonna stay any job that you may not like, because you don't want to study, upgrade, and pursue that career that you really want. So again, I create this community for you to have some structure, reach out to the community, reach out to me, so I can help you have a structure and guide you on every point of your journey to get your A&P and get your first interview. So the best way to reach me is through myschool.com /military-maintainers.com. And in there, you can talk to me, you can talk to the community, you can start it on your A&P, all by yourself. Let's just get it done. Let's knock out the start of 2026 on getting your A&P, and take time if you need to from work. Create that environment where you can study and knock that out, because you can do this by yourself. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Don't get too crazy. And I am pulling chalks. Have a good one.